Agnieszka. Hello, darling.
Hello, Zsolt.
Hello, everyone. Look, this is a historical moment because I never done this video before. That means we recording your expression about the test tomorrow because we are just a day before your driving test and we went through a hell today, okay? Because we had 4 hours, 2 times 2 hours, because we realized that we need a little bit more practice.
Yeah.
So day before yesterday we did your very first mock test, okay? And it wasn't as great as we expected. That's why we didn't panic. We started to work a little bit harder. So we put some extra lessons in the last couple of days. And today we finished your second mock test, which was clearly much better. And your test is tomorrow. How do you feel?
Well, I feel a little bit stressed, obviously nervous, as probably as many people the day before. But I think we did really good progress in the last few days. We spent like whole week learning
Seeing
and
me.
practicing. Yes. So that was quite
We've been dating all day, all week.
So that was quite, I think, very intensive. But yes, I'm happy that today, tomorrow will be this day.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, yes, you made one silly mistake today, but the rest was absolutely clearly tells us that you've been absolutely ready. So you prepared in every aspect. Obviously, we are human, so the nerve and the pressure, big factors, we can't avoid them. But I think you are absolutely ready. How did you feel about the first mock test or after the first mock test?
Well, definitely, because I had many mirrors mistakes, so I didn't pay attention to the mirrors, and actually that first mock test was actually brilliant, I think, because you told me that, for example, I could fail because of just
so
only
many
mirrors.
mistakes.
Yes, so I think I've just straight away I just thought to my head that I need to really pay attention to the mirrors. And as you said, I did progress with this part,
yes,
so I'm happy for that. I think, mainly you can have many different small mistakes, but if you will not fix them, you can have more serious mistakes. So I'm glad that we did that first mock test. And yes, you can say something probably more.
Yes, and you said you wish to do more mock tests, but to be honest with you, we can't do the mock test when we are not ready. Because if we do it too early, basically it would be devastating. It would kill our ambition. It would kill our everything, because we would have full with red, full with all the mistakes. We can do it when we can clearly measuring your performance. So this is today. When we do the mock test, we clearly use exactly the same paper as on the driving test. A very important bit about this one, which was hitting you on the first time when we did the mock test, you see clearly black and white, actually green and blue, what is going to be happening, how the examiner are measuring, because it doesn't matter if I tell you 10,000 times, you might not recording it, you might not remember it, but when you have this one on black and white, you take home and you sit down and then you fix it here, because everything is here. So that's why the mock test, in my opinion, and you're confirming it's the main tool towards to the end of the driving courses. Because if you do it just before the driving test, if you would do today the first mock test and tomorrow your real test, that would be wasting time and wasting money, because we wouldn't have time to fix it. We did it 2-3 days ago, and then we did another one today, and we kept practicing yesterday and today. So I'm absolutely believe that you're going to pass tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So did you have any big moments during the lessons? I mean, we started a couple of months back with your husband. You introduced yourself, your husband as well, and we started to work twice a week. It's a big moment now, isn't it?
Yes. It's very, because as you probably mentioned, we started from scratch. So I had never had experience with the driving, so that was just really something new for me. But I just felt in my bones that I really would enjoy my driving. You were recommended by my friend, so. I just truly believe that you will be a really good driving instructor because of recommendations.
Thank you.
So it was also for me very important to find someone who actually I will trust and will be very good. And your ratings as well online was very good. So I was really keen to start these lessons as soon as possible.
Thank you very much. Interestingly, you said yesterday you saw some videos, and then you saw some different levels of instruction which you couldn't believe it how poor the service was.
Yeah, so this is, I think, the main when people they are trying to pass driving license, they sometimes maybe they were confused about the so many different driving schools or instructors. So I think this is the key. Find really good driving instructor who can actually recommend that specific person, because you can sometimes wasting your time and obviously money,
Yes.
and you probably maybe will not improve yourself as well. You will make some other still mistakes. So it's very crucial, and obviously we have so many driving instructors and schools, and I would also recommend to all people just check ratings online and see if they have good opinions, good reviews, and
Videos, interviews are also very useful. I realizing how much it means to you as well when you see my previous candidates. When somebody failed the test, they also explaining honestly what went wrong. For instance, the Italian lady Beatrice, when she made a silly mistake and then she realized it, but it was too late, then she fixed it on the next test, and then she explained it honestly. That's very useful when you hear somebody who went through on this one. So basically, tomorrow you're going to take your driving test. A couple of advice which are very important. We check your eyesight, okay, that's very important, because if you wouldn't check it and then you can't, for instance, if somebody can't read the number plate, that's the end of the story. The examiner won't take that candidate for the test. So everyone who goes to the driving test, check the eyesight before they go for the driving test, at least 2-3 weeks beforehand, because if they need the glasses or contact lenses, they can still provide it. Okay, basically the observation is key tomorrow. Okay, so what Beatrice did, it's interesting, it's good to watch it. She was telling through all the driving test all the time what she was seeing. She saw the sign of the speed limit, she saw the sign about the stop sign, and she commented it. Because I asked her first time, she missed a sign and that's why she failed the test. Now I had to force her to read it out loudly because her brain was engaged, and she did it through the entire driving test and she was very successful. So it's very important to watch it. So basically the observation is key. So scanning, everything left and right, up and down, because it's like a huge puzzle. You must know every single details. Today on the mock test, you missed one sharp bend, and then you looked at me. You were kind of asking for confirmation. Did I do well or have I messed up? And I was quite angry because I said to you, you can't get an eye contact while you're driving.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is very important. Make sure if you messed up, focus on the road. Don't try to get an eye contact with the examiner, because you could make a huge mistake. So when you do the test tomorrow, even if I go with you or not, think about it. This person who will sit here is not an examiner, okay? It's just some person who is covering my shift because I am sick leave, okay? And then you won't be able to practice alone, so somebody has to sit here, so it's not an examiner, okay? So try to ignore the situation, because you're going to be a fantastic driver. Very important, if it's a lovely examiner, they will tell you don't do anything differently as you do on your driving lesson. Okay, so don't change your style. Even if you think on the driving lesson I did give away to the people, I helped them, do the same on the driving test. Okay, so don't change your driving style, don't drive faster, don't drive slower. Whatever we did, we exactly the same way we did it as you would do on the driving test tomorrow. Okay, so just enjoy your drive. You absolutely prepared. You don't need to really look for something else to do differently. When you made a mistake, if you can fix it, fix it. If you can't, forget it. Quite often we tend to leave our brain back there and thinking about what the hell we did, how we should be doing it because it was bad. Forget it. Like I said, if you can fix it, if you can't, forget it, because if you're not focusing here, if your brain is back there, you will make more mistakes. Okay, and don't judge yourself. Very often we make that mistake because you are experienced. Okay, so you had plenty of lessons behind you. You know that, okay, I made a mistake and it could be a fail or not. Don't judge yourself. That's the examiner's job. Okay, because sometimes you misjudge it and you think, oh, I messed up, I failed. And then you drop your focus, you drop your level. But if you keep focusing and you do on the same level, the examiner are forgiving. Okay, so it's very important because they judge the entire picture. I've been on a driving test with the test center manager here in Birmingham. He passed the candidate with a serious mistake. I was sitting on the test, I was surprised because with a serious mistake should fail the test. But he said to the candidate at the end, that was a silly mistake, your entire drive was so brilliant, I can forgive you for that one. So they're judging the entire drive. Okay, so don't judge yourself and then have I made a mistake? What was that serious or not? And also the examiner, they will make notes here. Okay, so when they make a notes, it's not necessary you made mistake at that time or you haven't done anything. Just they need to recording which road they went, how many times they pulled over you. Don't think about it, what the hell I done, because I was just driving in a straight road and the examiner made a note, so what's going on? Forget this person, forget whatever they're doing here. Okay, your job is just drive perfectly as you would drive on the driving lesson. Okay, one crucial thing which you've been very shy during the 2 mock tests, you said you're going to do that, but I really encouraging you, talk to the examiner on the driving test. Okay, I know it's pressurous, but you need to break the ice in the car. Okay, they will ask you some questions, some where are you from, what do you do for a living, blah blah blah, to try to create a nice atmosphere in the car. But feel free to talk to them as well. Okay, I'm not talking about just asking for confirmation, because you can ask if you need to turn left or turn right. You can always ask like, is this the right one, is this the left one, or whatever. They're happy to confirm it. But you can ask a informal question is okay, so how are you today, how many tests you had, just a little bit of chat. Obviously they're not going to bombard you with questions because they don't want to distract you, but they will ask you some questions because they have been told to ask you some questions. If you just answer yes or no, they will keep quiet. But I've been not in one test. Daria, she was chatting through the entire driving test because she was keen and she was focused more because she wasn't stressed when she was driving. And the examiner's jobs are very boring because they're not really talking, they're just sitting here like a quality check. Okay, and if you have a lovely personality, charm them, talk to them, a little chat, you still can focus. Okay, that's very important. I made a video about this one to everyone. I mentioned it, the 5 killers of driving test, very popular one. So go online and check it because it's just summarize what we talked about. You will be absolutely fine. So tomorrow, big day, I'm sure you will be absolutely fine because you deserved it.
Thank you.
So you did all your best, you worked very hard, sometimes almost, cries, sometimes you've been sweating, not sometimes, almost every time you've been sweating because you worked very hard. It's like when you go to the gym, what's the point if you're not going to be tired? And I believe your hard work paid off today and it will pay off tomorrow.
Thank you.
I wish you, Agnieszka, best of luck, and tomorrow we will continue this video with a happy face and a very, very big news. Okay, I wish you all the best tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
See ya.
Good morning, everyone. Hello there.
Hello.
Agnieszka, fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank
but
you.
We have a little bit of story to tell because we've been here in the same car park yesterday evening,
Yes.
and we said we're going to have your driving test this morning, and you managed it first time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Fantastic. You well deserved it, absolutely. So would you be kind enough to explain what's happened? How did it happen? Because it was really a fantastic ride, so well deserved it today.
Yeah, so I've passed my driving test with the 5 minors. Those test was pretty good. At the beginning, I was a little bit nervous, but obviously everyone is a little bit nervous at the beginning. Yes,
a tiny bit of nerve just is important. It makes you more alert.
Yes,
If someone is too laid back, that could cause problem.
Yes, definitely. Yes, so what I can say, I have very positive things about the driving test. My examiner was really polite and very supportive. I had few situations that I wasn't sure, where to go.
Pointing nicely.
So definitely,
spot on guy. Yes,
definitely, I have very positive feelings.
I was sitting on the back seat behind you, so that's why he's a big, bold guy.
Yes,
and his voice is very deep, so it could be scary first impression.
Yes, the first impression sometimes you might have like, that person is a little bit scary. Yes, but just remove from your head that kind of voice and just keep positive things and keep positive feelings in your head, in your mind. And yes, the driving, I think we did really good practice before our exam. So before the test, we actually pretty had the same road,
yes,
same
in
road.
the morning. So obviously we drive a little bit before the test, and we went almost exactly the same, 95% 100% in the same road. So that was a good guess.
That was great.
What you could have.
Definitely.
And it's important you have the local knowledge because we'll be driving around your driving test center. But back to the very beginning, because we started to make you a hero from zero, basically, because you couldn't even move the car at all. And there was a couple of big moments. So, for instance, when we realized your shoes weren't the best ones, and then you thought it's like a magic when I ask you, okay, go back home and then change your shoes because that one is not working. So, what was the main difference?
Yeah, so I had I was really, really angry at myself because I couldn't manage the clutch. So that was for me so really weird and strange. And then we figured out that it's about the shoes.
Yes.
So I've changed the shoes. And immediately I just realized that I can control the clutch. I can really feel very well the clutch.
Pedals,
so pedals, everything was really good. And after that, I think I've just managed
huge progress. Yes, absolutely. Also, the big moments I think were for us, but you can tell what you learned the mock tests. Because when we reach a certain standard, then we are ready to take mock tests. When I play the role of the examiner, exactly the same way, exactly the same mode, and then you know what to expect, and we know how you're behaving under pressure because it changes everything. It could be the best driver, but if the pressure is there, it's everything different. So how did that driving mock test gone? And what do you think? What did you learn from them?
Yeah, so I failed mock tests with Zsolt, but I think that was just absolutely great for me.
Almost tears.
Yes, because I remember you said, you have 30 or maybe even more. That small marks, minors about the mirrors. So I didn't look at the mirrors in the proper time at all. So after that time, I just realized, yes, I could fail just only, not looking at the mirrors. So after that, I just immediately, I just improved this. And on my driving test, I had no minors about the mirrors. So,
fantastic.
So
absolutely.
it's very important, I think, mock tests, because it just shows you what we still can improve, and you have still time to improve the skills.
Yes, so we not just did it the day before.
No.
We left 2 weeks, and then we did a couple of mock tests, not just one. And also crucially important, because sometimes, no matter if I explain to you 10,000 times, sometimes it's not sinking in our brain. So we went for the first mock test, I remember clearly, and there was a stop sign, countryside road, and you didn't stop completely, you just rolled the car extremely slowly, almost stopped. But I told you off kind of at the end of the mock test, because that would lead you for fail the driving test. So that was again a big learning curve, not just really slowing down. Stop sign, it's mandatory to come to the full stop. And then they did the next one, and then you messed up the reversing. What went wrong there?
Reversing.
The parallel parking,
Oh, yes,
because you had
parking.
Yes.
So I was a little bit nervous, stressed, because when I see the car in front of me and the back of me, so
both of them,
So it's a little bit the kind of pressure when you feel in your head. So yes, that was actually not great.
And you couldn't really manage it. So yes, again, learning curve. You need to hold your nerves.
Yes, definitely.
Rather, regardless what's happening, because it takes 20 seconds.
Or even practice, 15 times, 1 hour or 2 hours, but just to master your skills, and then you'll be happy and confident, definitely.
To shotted eyes as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I'm really pleased to let me to have you through this journey, because you've been so lovely and you're responsive, you learn. I saw you wanted to do this, because sometimes you see when the candidate is just bored, they don't want to do it because their partner or parents, they want to do it, but you've been always keen, always on time. So absolutely, thank you very much for being such a good candidate. I think you have a couple of advice if somebody is going for the test, because we talked about it, what was the best thing, what you could advise. So if you could just, let them know what they need to prepare for, how they need to, or what they need to look for, not making big mistakes.
So obviously I would always suggest to do the mock tests like few weeks before. On the test, I would say that you have to be prepared. It's really always good to have like 30-40 minutes drive before the test,
to warm up your muscles, your brain, feel the car.
It's even in my situation, I had really the same test roads what we did today's morning. So that was absolutely brilliant for us.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I was so happy when we went same road. Yes. I was delighted.
Yes, definitely.
You said, I wish to have this test route on my real test, because it was kind of nice full with challenges, but other than it was predictable.
Yes, definitely.
So the mock test, and what else?
Well, all the times I would suggest to find the proper instructor, because as I said probably before, you can waste sometimes your time and money for not very great instructor. And with our journey, I can say, like, you know, you all the time you wanted to try to do the best what I can do.
Thank you.
And what I can learn, even if sometimes Zsolt can tell you hundreds of times, you know, not you need to practice this and that again and again.
So sometimes
Is
you
that
almost
mean? Yes, that means that you have to practice.
Because you've been a little bit angry. Why I can do that now? But I know what is the standard what we need to reach. And then you haven't rejected my request, so that was very good teamwork. Look, it's absolutely a team effort. Because yes, you might think, oh, it's tiring. I know now. But if it's not on the master standard, we take the risk to fail the test.
Yes. Of course, yes, and on that day, I would say, even if you fail, so I would probably say to people, it's not the end of the world.
Yes.
Definitely. I would always suggest also just to listen what the examiner will say about your test, why you failed, and just take this.
Like we did on the mock test, we analyzed it, and you get a written report. That's very important.
Yes.
The mock test, we do exactly use the same paper like you got the report from the driving test. So we have exactly hundreds of copies. This one we use it, and we make a note. You take it home, and then you fix it here.
Yes.
Because no matter how good we are on the road and practice, but here need to be fixed everything. And the next day we always saw the difference.
Yes. And,
so learn from your mistakes, basically.
Yes, takes a few lessons extra. Talk with your driving instructor. What do you need to improve, and how to fix it. Don't be very focused on your fails, on your mistakes, but just keep in mind that you have to improve them. So I think, as I said previously, the driving instructor is the crucial. And then I think, like, we started working on my mistakes, and then I improved it very quickly. And then I was ready to pass the exam. So that was very good.
Lovely. Also, I think it's important, try to not make a misconception. If you see, like today we saw the big bold guy, we thought he is going to bite our heads off because he looked very strict. And then at the end of the day, he started to talk. His voice was relaxed. He was helping you, smiling. So don't judge by the cover of the book, because you could put yourself under pressure and not focusing.
Yes, and then don't scare to ask them. Like, ask him, you know, how are you today? How's your day? Are you busy? It's just like
ice.
Yes, and I actually asked my examiner during the road,
which is very good.
And he was immediately with smile, and then
he
changed
mood.
immediately.
Absolutely.
So it's just like creating nice atmosphere in a car, because obviously you can be a little bit stressful as well. The driving instructor is like 40 minutes every day. You know, it's a boring bit job.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's 40 minutes of driving,
and be a driving examiner, because
you wouldn't.
Because I see now here you're progressing from zero to be a hero. An examiner just kind of tell you, yes, you've been good enough or not good enough, see you next time. But they don't influencing your progress. And that's the magic about this job, to see you progressing, you improving.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one video on YouTube, was very popular, the 5 killers of driving test. And then you wanted to point out, because you said on the mock test, this is crucially important, because when we did the mock test, when I made a note on the paper, you paid attention. And then it was distracting. And then I saying on that video, forget it, whatever the examiner, so please watch it because it's very useful. So forget it, whatever the examiner are making any notes, because they're not necessarily marking you.
Oh, yes.
So was it difficult thereafter? Because after we practiced a couple of times, then you learned how to avoiding me.
Yes. It's definitely true. Don't rely on what examiner is writing on a paper, because it really doesn't mean that he is taking some notes about your mistakes. It's really not that kind of way. So stay focused on the road, and just be focused on your drive, rather than just looking, you know, what examiner is writing. So
and one more very important, it's clearly change your driving style as well. When we made a mistake on the parallel parking, which you couldn't manage it, then I could see as an examiner you totally gave up. Thereafter you made 5 serious forward, because you didn't focus, you lost your weight. So make sure, if you make a mistake, if you make a mistake on the driving test, just try to forget it. If you can, of course, you try to fix it, but if you can't, forget it. Don't leave your brain back there, because you're not going to be focused ahead, and that's ruining your entire test, because you might misjudge your performance. You say, oh, I already failed it, but the examiner say, no, it was okay. You can a minor, but so don't judge yourself. Leave it to the examiner. That's very important.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, anything else? If it's something comes in your mind, what you would tell the candidates in the country?
Well, I wish good luck to everyone. Maybe probably I would suggest watch some movie comedy before your exam. Don't stress yourself too much. Yes, and just keep positive things in your mind.
Lovely. Agnieszka, thank you very much for being my lovely candidate. I wish you all the best, and have a safe journey, because now you're free to drive.
Oh, yes.
Anytime.
Can't wait.
Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
See you, everyone.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.